So today's date, Sunday, August 24th, 2025. We continue on talk about Platform Sutra, the chapter of the doubt. Last time we ended here like this. This is endurance with purpose. It's like a child getting a painful injection. It hurts now, but just bear it for a moment. It will pass like an ant bite. That's the idea behind temporary endurance. So patience must be tied to a goal. There must be a reason or stage-based goal to endure pain. Without reason or purpose, most people won't persist in patience. And the talk was ended on Sunday, July 27, 2025. Then we come to another one that is accepting karmic consequences. This is to say, lightly receiving heavy retribution. There are two stories. One is about unreasonable disasters. In our ordinary life, we often encounter suffering or disasters that seem to have no cause. So there's a story that's shared by our teacher. The story was told to him about a tragic story. So his younger brother embezzled, that is to say, secretly take or steal money or property that has been entrusted to someone. So his younger brother embezzled money. Outsiders believe the older brother was behind it and dragged him into court. So he said, "This is unjust. I had nothing to do with it. My brother fled. I don't even know where he is now. But I am the one facing trial." So such things truly seem unreasonable to the person. But that's one. And again, there are two murder cases that seem utterly irrational. The first case is that a younger brother woke up one day feeling irritated. So he traveled from one place to the other to chat with his older brother. They talked a bit, but the younger one was agitated and said a few unpleasant things. His older brother, who had never killed anyone, suddenly picked up a kitchen knife and killed him. The younger brother, who had never been killed before, was murdered by his own brother. This was his first and only time. It seems senseless. So that is the first case. The second case involves someone from our monastery. One of our monastery's older brother lived in a place. So one evening, he went to a restaurant for dinner. A nearby table was loud and rowdy, so he politely asked them to quiet down. One of the men, an elderly soldier, suddenly drew a knife and killed him on the spot. This man had never killed before and had never fought in a war. Yet his first murder was this man. And this man is our monastic's brother. The family was devastated. So this war is irrational. It seems there's no logic, no karmic law. He had never killed anyone. Why was he killed? But according to Dharma, is there a reason? Yes, there is a reason, but not necessarily in this life, but perhaps in the past life. Maybe he had killed or harmed others in the past, and the karmic results ripen all at once. Or perhaps he has said harmful things that led others to death or suffering. So now in this life, he appears to die without reason. So the question may be, if someone like those in the story must face such disasters, what could have prevented it? Well, in both examples, the victims were agitated by noise or anger. If they had simply walked away, nothing would have happened. Or if they had stayed silent, they would have lived. Just enduring for a moment could have saved their lives. If you see or hear about this kind of situation, and you also get angry and try to intervene, you might become the next victim. Someone else goes mad, you go mad too, and the result, you get killed as well. This is the consequence of being unable to endure. Over here, I related a story of the ancient master from his name is An Sigao. And in one of the lifetime, he vowed to spread the Dharma to China. So he came all the way in a small country. It has the name of Chuyan, something like that. So Ensigao, at that time, he vowed to go to China. And he knew that he would get killed in the first trial. So he came to China after crossing the border, and somehow he got killed. And then, since he vowed to spread the Dharma to China, he came again next lifetime. And of course, he was not killed. Now, this story related to the perseverance of the ancient master who vowed to give or to share the valuable Dharma to China. So he went, and even knowing that he would get killed, he still do it. So it's very much different with the two cases that we have heard. But it's possible that will give some reason for this man here. The two men get killed without reasons. So something related to the past. Karma, they have already built up. So there's another example. A woman came and asked our teacher. She said, lately there has been no peace in my home. Nothing feels peaceful inside and outside. It's all uneasy. What should I do? Our teacher smiled and said, I don't know. Then he added, just tell your family to come listen to the Dharma talk. This kind of uneasy surely has its reasons. At the very least, well, our teacher said he cannot draw a talisman, chant a spell, or perform some kind of ritual to make her household peaceful again. And he said he's not a Taoist priest or a great ritual master. He's just a Dharma teacher. And he only knows how to teach Buddha's teachings. So all he could say is, I don't know what to do. And our teacher said that what I want to say actually is any disaster or unease has its causes. And if we can face and handle it rationally and calmly from within, that sense of unease will gradually turn into peace. At least our mind will become peaceful. So the saying of enduring a moment, a peaceful mind can dispel disaster. So another one that our teacher also shared is that one of our lay followers, a doctor, experienced this. Both he and his wife are Chinese medicine doctors working at the same clinic. The clinic had been open for nearly 20 years. Just a few days ago, at around 4 in the morning, an old electrical wire caught fire and burned down the entire clinic. All the medicinal herbs they had accumulated over 20 years were reduced to ashes. Their personal medicines, books, and even patient records were completely destroyed. All the medical equipment and tools were lost. When the resident monks learned of the fire, they urged our teacher to quickly call and offer words of comfort. So our teacher was busy in previous day, so he couldn't call. So he made the call afterward, the first thing in the morning. And our teacher said, "Doctor, I heard your clinic caught fire. How are things?" And the first thing he said to our teacher was, "师父, everyone in our family is safe." The second thing he said was, "What really saddened me is our patients. Because all the medicine we prepare is gone, they won't be able to get treatment right away. It would take at least 2 weeks to a month to get everything back in production. It feels like I have let them down." Now, let's think about it. What kind of mind is this? That's a compassionate mind. He wasn't focused on his own losses, but instead on the inconvenience to his patients. And then he said a third thing. Yesterday, we brought in some specialists. The clinic will have to be completely remodeled and refitted. It will cost a lot of money. The things that were burned will need to be replaced, and that costs money too. And he said, "But 师父, there's one good thing. In the past, there were things I couldn't bear to throw away. Now they're all gone. There were things I didn't want to spend money on. Now I have no choice but to buy them. In the long run, this will only benefit our patients, not harm them. So again, what kind of mind is this? Still a compassionate mind. He was only thinking about how this would benefit his patients, not worrying about his own problems. Now some of you might think, that's because he's a doctor. He already made enough money, so losing all that stuff doesn't matter to him. Well, let's tell you that no matter how wealthy someone is, losing everything in a fire is never pleasant, right? He lost a lot. Yes, his mindset was this calm. I asked him, "Do you need me to comfort you?" That is to say, our teacher asked the doctor, "Do you need me to comfort you?" He replied, 师父, I've been comforted by the Dharma for many years already. It's more than enough. If I weren't a Buddhist, I think this incident would have been a huge problem for me. But because I have studied the Dharma, I feel calm in facing these disasters. So Shifu, please don't worry. And our Shifu said, he was the one comforting me. That is exactly how someone avoids calamity and suffering. Through this disaster, he dispelled misfortune and averted harm. His mind remained peaceful. This is the function of Dharma. Okay. So the word patient here has two levels of meaning. One is enduring hardship and fatigue. The other is wisdom, the use of Buddhist insight to resolve inner emotional imbalance. Using the perspective of the Dharma to transform our emotional unrest is called wisdom. So the meaning of patience can both be shallow and deep. The shallow level refers to bearing the physical and environmental difficulties in daily life. The deeper level refers to using wisdom to balance and transform our inner turmoil. Thus, patience encompasses both endurance and insight. So another one is using compassion to resolve hatred. We have heard earlier about 3 stories, right? 2 about murder and 1 about fire. Among the most frightening of events. If we can endure and come to terms with even situation like murder and arson, then what hardship is there that we cannot accept? Now let's explore more about the first murder case that our teacher mentioned. All the people involved were our Buddhist disciples. At first glance, it might seem like practicing Buddhism did not help. After all, a disciple was killed. But that very disciple's wife, mother, and the son of the killer came to see our teacher. The killer was the elder brother, and the victim was the younger brother. So our Shifu asked them, do you resent the eldest son? Do you hate the uncle who killed your husband or your younger son? They replied, we study Dharma, we don't hate. He had never killed anyone before. This was his karmic retribution. Hating him now serves no purpose. What's done is done. Our family has already suffered great misfortune. Is there any value in adding hatred on top of it? And our teacher said, it's best if you don't hold on to hatred. The one who was killed is already gone. The one who remains still alive needs our compassion and support. So this is the principle of Dharma. That family did not engage in any public conflict or emotional outbursts. That is the conduct of true Buddhist practitioner. So, taking loss patiently is a practice of enduring humiliation. Conflicts between people are inevitable. There will be arguments, gossip behind one's back, disputes, and slander. If we cannot be patient, we might get angry at any moment, seek revenge at any moment, even go so far as to commit violence. But if we can practice patience, minor issues will disappear. Major problems will become small ones. We will remain safe and peaceful. Others will respect and honor you. Patience does not make you a target for mockery or abuse. If someone is looked down upon or mistreated, it's often because they lack wisdom, they lack capability, they frequently say irrational or inappropriate things. That's why others scorn and take advantage of them. Scorn means the feeling of someone or something is worthless. But if you are rational, clear-minded, and discerning, even if you are wronged or taken advantage of, that is not humiliation. That is a practice of enduring humiliation. So there's a story about the Hall of 100 Patiences. There's a saying about writing the character patience, not just once, but 100 times. This becomes a family teaching, a treasure legacy known as the Hall of 100 Patience. The idea is to always, at all times, practice patience. So there are still homes today with this plaque, Hall of 100 Patiences. Have you known about this? The family name associated with this is Zhang. An ancestor of the Zhang family left this teaching to his descendants. If you see the sign, Hall of 100 Patiences, try going into the house and scolding someone. See if they can practice what they preach. Can they truly endure? So if we can really practice patience in speech, we won't speak harshly or say words that wound or criticize too severely. In physical actions, we don't glare at others, spit at them, raise our fists, or lift our feet as if to kick. When none of these reactions are present, it means our minds have already accepted and embraced patience. Our words and body language won't provoke others or incite retaliation. Otherwise, due to a lack of patience, we may bring serious harm upon ourselves, even loss of life. So the two cases we mentioned earlier are clear examples. If the individuals had just endured for a moment, the disasters won't have happened. So patience in enduring humiliation is both a turning point and a source of strength. So some people have said something like this: we can endure for the sake of personal benefit or loss, but should we still endure when it comes to the survival of the Dharma? Should we endure for the protection of our monastery or the interests of Dharmadrum Mountain? Should we endure when it comes to the life or death of our country or people? If we don't resist, maybe we can fight for our survival. But if we endure, might we be completely wiped out? Are we to endure endlessly? So, how could we answer this? If you are not thinking only for your own interests, but are truly thinking for the Dharma, that is remarkable. And you worth the blessing. So there's a story of this Yuan Qian. Now you may have heard the story from uh, China's spring and autumn period of King Qian of Yuan Qian. Yuan Jian. I'm sorry, Yuan Jian. So in order to restore his kingdom, he endured bitter hardship, sleeping on firewood and tasting gall. Now, gall is very bitter. So he lived this way to remember his humiliation and strengthen himself, quietly rebuilding the strength of his nation. When the time was right, he launched a counterattack and defeated the state of Wu. It was during this time that the famous beauty Xi Shi appeared. Was this patience? Absolutely. Another story about Chiang Kai-shek. In 1949, when the Republic of China retreated from the mainland to Taiwan, and our former president, Chiang Kai-shek, promoted the spirit never forget Ju, a reference to perseverance, and Goujian's restoration of the state, which we just mentioned about, the Yuan Goujian. At the time, the circumstances were such that he could not immediately fight Mao Zedong to that. If the old president hadn't endured and had insisted on fighting, would the Republic of China still exist today? Certainly not. It would have been gone long ago. Because the other side was stronger, he had no choice but to endure. For a time, America bullied China, bullied Taiwan. Taiwan was in a weak position. Even while being mistreated, we had to say, we have no other choice. We can only follow America. Yet another story to share. The story of the shoe under the knee. So, placing the shoe under the knee, which comes from the tale of Zhang Liang and the old man of the yellow rock. It teaches that for the sake of greater ideals, long-term plans, and distant goals, we must endure humiliation, suffering, and suppression for the time being. If someone tries to wipe us out, we must hide and preserve ourselves instead of confronting them. Why? Because eggs cannot fight against rock. If they crash, the eggs is destroyed. Endure being criticized and wrong. So this is another saying. Well, this is again referring to our Dharma mountain in Taiwan. Due to the good intention of both lay and monastic disciples, trying to defend our teacher and protect our monastery and Dharma mountain, and our Shifu ended up suffering instead. When someone criticized our teacher and the disciples fired back at them, then others assume that Shikong was the one, teacher, Shifu, was the one who instructed them to do so. As a result, more people began to criticize our teacher. Originally, only one person misunderstood Shifu. Now even more people said Master Sheng Yan deserved to be punished. And it created a public backlash. And Shifu said that when he was in the US, Taiwan had already descended into chaos. Rumors spread that our teacher was involved in lawsuit with certain individuals. Yet, Shifu didn't even know about it. Just all because of his disciple acted out of goodwill, and Shifu got caught in the fallout. And Shifu often said, it's okay if people scold Master Sheng Yan. It's okay if Shifu is misunderstood. It's okay if Shifu is wronged. And I am a monastic. This is what Shifu said. What does it matter? If Shifu doesn't respond, the matter ends. If Shifu do respond, the criticism only multiplies. as always. So again, 师父 share something like this. He visited Hong Kong and someone asked him, do you know how bad Master Xing Yun is? This is another great master in Taiwan. And our teacher replied, I haven't seen anything. And the person asked, so you don't believe it? And Shifu asked him, do you believe it? He said, everyone is saying so. So Shifu said, then you are saying it too, aren't you? So the others are spreading it, that's their business. But you haven't seen it, so why are you repeating it? If you don't believe it, then why ask me? And Shifu said, I haven't seen anything. I can only say that much. I won't pass it on. And then Shifu said, you haven't seen it either. Why are you asking me? Why are you spreading it? Do you want me to say it's true or false? People like you spreading gossip with no evidence. You are the real troublemakers. After Shifu said that, some lay people in Hong Kong said, Master Sheng Yan seems to be defending Master Xing Yun. And Shifu replied, I'm not defending him personally. I'm standing on the principle of Buddhism. We Buddhists should not speak recklessly based on empty rumors. So when people criticize our teacher, he chooses not to respond. Many people scold him, and he pretends not to hear. And again, many people are concerned about Dharma Mountain, about its construction at that time and progress. A few individuals have been spreading rumors. It's not a lot of people, but just a few are enough to stir up trouble. So wherever he goes there in Taiwan, Tainan, Taichung, people ask him about these rumors. And who spread them? It's our own people. Lay disciples out of concerns speak not to me directly, but to outsiders. And as a result, Shifu end up having to spend a lot of time explaining and clarifying. And these disciples have good intention. They care about Dharma Mountain and about the teacher. They fear that our Shifu being deceived and the monastery is suffering losses. And Shifu said, at the end, I am the one who suffers. And he said, still, is there any benefit to him? Yes, it raises my awareness and vigilance. Though he already had it to begin with. So very often, good intentions, kind words, and good deeds done to protect our monastery may lead to more trouble. So we hope that you all understand, even in such situations, we must practice patience. If we are patient, the problem disappears. You will be safe, and our teacher will be safe. Everyone will be safe. So I will stop here at this moment.
Well,